I'm chairman of the Athletic Hall of Fame here at Santa Ana College and also on the foundation board at the college. I came here as a kid out of Orange High School in 1957, 58, and played basketball here. And they got me where I lasted at First American for 47 years, got a job for me. And so I figured it's time for me to give back. And so I'm in my 29th year of giving back. And it's a I don't care about that. It's a labor of love. I was telling Gary Meek up here that, when I retired in 2008, I gave up about 5 different organizations I was involved with and stuck with Santa Ana College because I love it. So we're here today to honor these great athletes that you see up here in front of you. You want to make sure you go inside and look at the plaques where we put them, and they're permanent. So you see what's done with that. You're going to hear some great stories today. Sit back and enjoy the afternoon. Then afterwards we have food and things too. At this time I'd like to introduce Doug Manning, the Dean of Kinesiology and Athletics here at Santa Ana College.
Wow. Just incredible to see all you guys out there, and especially exciting to see all the kids here celebrating the accomplishments of their parents and grandparents. I've heard so much from the inductees today about what Santa Ana College meant to be, and my remarks today are meant to be a welcome from the Division of Kinesiology Athletics, and then thank all the inductees for their contributions to Santa Ana College. Today is not only about celebrating their accomplishments, but connecting the past to the present and the future of Santa Ana College. Beyond the athletic accomplishments, we have 135 conference championships, 25 state championships, and 6 national championships here at Santa Ana College. It's a special place with incredible people. And so at this time, I'd like to recognize some of those special people here at Santa Ana College. From the Rancho Santiago Community College District Board of Trustees, we have Vice President Claudia Alvarez. As well as Clerk Zeke Hernandez. Representing our President, Dr. Linda Rose today, we have Dr. Vanithia Hubbard, Vice President of Student Services, as well as our Vice President of Academic Affairs, Dr. Jeff Lamb. Our Chairman, Ken Purcell, for the Athletic Hall of Fame, really embodies what the Athletic Hall of Fame is all about, and we are blessed beyond belief for their support. We have some individuals who are integral members of that Athletic Hall of Fame. We have our Chairman, Ken Purcell, today's MC, Ed Arnold, former men's basketball coach, Dana Pageant, former head football coach, Dick Gorey, former head football coach, Dave Ogus, SAC alumnus and former Angel, Rick Turner, and former head baseball coach, Don Snedden. We also need to honor our incredible partners from the SAC Foundation. We have Executive Director Christina Romero. And at our table, we have Jennifer Valencia and Jessica Hammond. As a group, I would like to recognize the hardworking faculty and head coaches from the Division of Kinesiology and Athletics. Head volleyball coach, Troy Abbey. Head women's soccer coach, Jamie Baccaro. Head men's basketball coach, Flo Lapani. Head football coach, Jeff Jones. Men's basketball coach, Dave Bragg. Cross country and track and field coach, Miriam Mitzel. Head baseball coach, Tom Nillis. Former head softball coach, Kim Nutter. Football coach, Adam Nyson. Head softball coach, Marissa Ross. Our head wrestling coach, Vince Silva. Head men's soccer coach, who's a part of the 1999 inductee team today, Jose Vasquez. And two individuals who had an integral behind-the-scenes part of this ceremony today. Couldn't do it without them. Our sport information director, Cammie Lewis, and our athletic director, Mary Haggerty. I'd like to leave you today with a quote from an essay by Graham Jones, How the Best of the Best Get Better and Better. This essay was published on leadership lessons from sports in the Harvard Business Review. The essay focuses on how these ultimate competitors succeed because they love pressure, fixate on the long term, use competition, reinvent themselves, and celebrate the victories. To quote Mr. Jones, elite performers know how to party. Indeed, they put almost as much effort into their celebrations as they do into their accomplishments. Celebration is more than an emotional release. Done effectively, it involves a deep level of analysis and enhanced awareness. These very best performers do not move on before they have scrutinized and understood thoroughly the factors underpinning their success. To the 2019 SAC Athletic Hall of Fame inductees, you are the best of the best from Santa Ana College. Congratulations, it's time to celebrate. And now introducing our athletic director, Mary Haggerty.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. It truly is an honor for me to be the athletics director at Santa Ana College and the tremendous legacy and the history that we have here at the college. This amazing class of 2019 is just remarkable with the achievements. But the thing that I think I've been moved by the most is the conversations with all of these inductees as how humble and graceful they all are. So I'm looking forward to that part of the program. And before we get to that, we have a special presentation. Presentation for one of our previous inductees from the first class of 2003, Coach John Ward. Just to give you a little bit of background, about a year ago, I'd been on the job for about a month and a half, and I met Coach Al Siddons. Where's Al? So how many of you know Al Siddons? Okay, so if you know Al, he is very, let's say, persistent. But he brought to my attention something that was really important. He let me know that there was a plaque missing that honored Coach John Ward. We had named the field on the interior of the track facility John Ward Field, and Coach Siddons had let me know that the plaque had disappeared. So after about a year of trying to do some research, trying to find out where the plaque may have gone, we determined that we could not find the plaque, and so I went to our Hall of Fame committee and told them about the situation and asked them to support this and pay for a new plaque to be put up and replace the old plaque that was missing. And without skipping a beat, this tremendous Hall of Fame committee agreed right away, and we wanted to make sure that we honored such a great legend in Santa Ana College Don history. So what we'd like to do is present the plaque right now. We're going to mount the plaque at a later date, and we'll have the family back for that. But is there anyone from Coach Ward's family here? Anybody make it come on up here? If you could come up here, Coach Siddons, if we can come up, like to present the plaque and get a photo with you and the new plaque. Come right over here. Let's congratulate them. You're welcome, Al. Thank you. Let's give one more round of applause to the John Ward family. as we continue the program, moving on through the induction ceremony, I'd like to introduce our dynamic, energetic Executive Director of the SAC Foundation, Christina Romero.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Santa Ana College. There is great power in story. I believe in the power of story, and as the executive director of the foundation and a Santa Ana College alum myself, it's been an honor to work with my team over the last 14 years and be able to engage in the thousands of alum that have come onto this campus and have had this college be a part of their story. Dale, Tom, Lonnie, Gary, Dave, Jake, Tony, and the 1999 men's soccer team represent what Santa Ana College is all about. It's about excellence and grit and talent and high achievement and perseverance. It's about being the best of the best all the time when the stakes are high and when things aren't going so well. These individuals represent what Santa Ana College is all about. And the Santa Ana College Foundation is a proud partner of today's induction ceremony. We are recognizing these fine athletes and alum because they changed their lives, their families' lives, and their communities' lives. Just like these alumni stories, this event also has a very special story, one of giving back to give back. Several years ago, a group of very dedicated alum and volunteers and coaches came together out of their own free will because they believed in the power of these stories and they believed in the power of philanthropy. I want to honor every dedicated volunteer and coach and alumni who have made up the Athletic Hall of Fame, who have made up the Ed Arnold Golf Classic, who have given hundreds of thousands of dollars back to transfer athletes, who have replaced and made a huge impact on the kinesiology and intercollegiate sports program here at Santa Ana College. Today, it is also about that legacy. I hope you will leave here today not only inspired by these amazing stories, but the inspiration of the power of giving. Thank you, and welcome again to Santa Ana College.
Christina, thank you very much. And when it's all said and done, there'll be food back in the back. And I know that's going to excite a couple of people. I don't know how much food's back there, but I do tell you, watch out if Purcell gets to it first. He didn't hear the shot it took at him. When we make the presentations in just a few moments, we're going to have the folks that are going to be the presenters come in, make the presentation, which will take place over to my right, your left, or straight ahead, wherever you want to be. And there's a reason for that. It's so the photographer can get the right kind of photo at the time. What we'd like to do is introduce a few of the people who have already been inducted. And if they're here, I'm going to call out names, and you can get the applause when we get to the end of them. If they're not here, better luck. From 2005, Nancy Warren. From 2006, Dana Pageant, stand if you're here. 2007, Bob Delaney, Jose Vasquez. 2008, Dave Alexander. 2009, Cheryl Anderson. 2010, Ken Purcell. 2011, representing the 1962 football team, Don Orr, Mike Anderson, Wiley Carlisle. 2013, Bob Garn. The 2076 and 77 women's volleyball teams represented by Rose Argo. 2015, Dave Ogas, Don Snedden. 2017, Stephanie Mill. A nice round of applause for these people. And I must ask the magic question. Did any of them stand? Oh, Rose, I know you did. I saw that, so that was good for you. Since our last induction, we've lost several of our people that were very special to us. And before I introduce them, just a reminder, the restrooms are through the door over here, because we got a bunch of young people here. But from the 1962 Don's football team, Coach Bill Dutton, tackle Jack DeWitt, linebacker Dick Litzinger have now passed away, Coach Bob Boyd, and then the widow of one of the first inductees, Dwayne Allen, Casey Allen. It's a tough loss for us. I mean, these were people that really cared about this college, and they put forth a great deal of effort through the years. But what we're doing here today is paying tribute to people who have been nominated and selected by the committee, and this is not an easy task. Getting inductees is tough enough. Getting the nominations is extremely tough. And we have people that are looking at everything that is presented to us, and then the decision is made. There are hundreds of former athletes, and many, many, many of these should be nominated. So if there's someone that's very special in your past, someone that you're aware of that played in athletics, coached, administrator here at Santa Ana College, we would love to have them nominated. Ken Purcell and I both are lucky enough to have played sports here. We were lucky enough to get involved a number of years ago, and it's a great honor for us to continue to pay back, and that's what it amounts to, and we want to see that happen to other athletes. Our first inductee this year, unfortunately, could not be with us, and the presenter is someone that has been around him a little bit. I was around him in many, many years past, so it's going to be my pleasure. And then there's a letter from Dale that I will read. Dale Franklin Story was born in Los Angeles in '42, grew up in Orange, an active youngster, a young man that had polio at the age of 11, a condition that temporarily paralyzed him from the neck down. Though bedridden for 7 months, he recovered completely and resumed indulging in his two passions in life, running in the wilderness. Story was an incredible talent. During his senior year at Orange High School, broke the national high school record for the 1-mile run, finishing in 4:11. Don's legendary Hall of Fame coach John Ward took note, and Dale's successes continued here at Santa Ana College, and in this letter from Dale, he'll refer to Coach. In his 1 year at Santa Ana College, Story set a junior college record in the 2-mile, won the state championships in that event and in cross country. He transferred to Oregon State in '61, enticed by an athletic scholarship in both track and cross country, but more so for him, as it turned out, the school's program in fisheries and wildlife. That fall, he won the NCAA cross country championship, beating a field that included 6 future Olympians. Story's 4 teammates also finished high enough in his standings to capture the national team title for Oregon State, the first in the school's history. That win attracted widespread media attention, primarily because Dale Story won the race, which took place in Michigan in 30-degree weather while running barefoot. As a teenager, Story had adopted the practice of running without shoes, and he commonly trained and competed barefoot in both cross-country and track and field. Story's first track season at Oregon State was rather amazing. He ended the season ranked 2nd nationally in the 2-mile and contributed to Oregon State's #1 ranked 2-mile and 2nd ranked 4-mile relay teams. What kept Story from becoming perhaps the world's best distance runner was his primary interest increasingly became the outdoors. His summers were spent exploring the Canadian wilderness and all around Oregon. And during the school year, most of his free hours were devoted to fishing on a nearby Oregon river, the Willamette. Dale completed his Oregon State eligibility, having set school records at every track distance longer than 1 mile. At one point, he held 13 course or meet records in cross country. His personal bests as a collegiate runner were 4:03.4 in the 1 mile, that was 1962, 63, 13:37.5 in the 3 mile, in the 5,000 meters in 63, 14:04.5. With his 1961 teammate, Story was inducted into the Oregon State Sports Hall of Fame in 1991. Dale completed his coursework in wildlife management in '65. He stayed at Oregon State for 2 more years to obtain his teaching credential. '67, he was hired by a high school located in the remote northeast Oregon to teach biology and coach. Over a 30-year high school coaching career, Story's teams won 7 state championships in track, 2 in cross country. Living adjacent to a beautiful mountain, he also happened to suit Story's passion for outdoors. An accomplished bow hunter, Story commonly hikes today without shoes. Our first inductee is Dale Story. This letter from Dale: what a surprise to be inducted into the Santa Ana College Hall of Fame. As a 77-year-old former athlete, I can assure you it is a pleasant feeling to be appreciated. But keep in mind, I originally trained and performed for my own ego. As a little insecure, fatherless young man who overcame polio at 11 years old, I had much to prove to the world. And then came into my life Big John Ward. Other coaches that recruited me talked about all the records we could set, etc. Instead, Big John Ward asked, "Do you want to go fishing?" He showed an interest in the human, not just breaking records. John always devoted his time, energy, and concern for the student athlete, not for their feather in his cap. He didn't need a feather. He was a man among men. His memory and contributions molded my life. And while I was a student at Oregon State, I asked what I could do to repay him. He said, "Dale, can you go back and help other young athletes find their way? And that will be enough." Rest assured, that advice has been in my mind and practiced for 60 years. What a father Big John Ward was to me, and this amazing message lives on with my students as well. We need to pass it on. My ego is satisfied, and I hope the youth learn from the experienced old. Thank you, Dale Story. A nice round of applause for Dale Story. For the introduction of our next inductee, please welcome his son, Tom DeLappy Jr.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening. So my dad, sitting right over here in the Letterman's jersey, still fits him, played here at Santa Ana College from 57 to 59. And my whole life I've had the fortunate circumstance of sharing the same name as my dad. So I've lived here in Orange County and worked in Orange County for the last 30 years. And usually when I'm at an event like this, I'm wearing a name tag that says Tom DeLappy, or I introduce myself as Tom DeLappy, or someone looks up Tom DeLappy and finds me instead of my dad, and then they meet me. The first thing they say is, "Huh, you're related to Tom DeLappy that played football at Mater Dei and in Santa Ana College?" And I say, yeah, that's me. And they, never would have thought. Yeah, okay. And I always got to ask him, why? Why wouldn't you think I was, Jerry? He goes by Jerry now, Jerry's son. And they say, well, I always thought it would be someone bigger or tougher or just meaner. I mean, all those things. So then they always have a great story. And I really can't tell any of those stories here because there's kids in the audience. So I'm just going to rattle off all the great accomplishments that my dad had when he played football. And it really started at Mater Dei. And a lot of the kids that went to Mater Dei in the 50s came and played football over here. And so he was a member of the first All-CIF football team at Mater Dei that went undefeated in 1956. And he was also the first All-CIF football player at Mater Dei. So I think that that's started quite a tradition there and a great foundation for the school. And then when he came here to Santa Ana College, he was a member of the team in 57 that won the Orange Bowl versus San Diego State. He took a year off because he had a knee injury. And then he came back, and I guess they'd call it a redshirt year now, but he came back and played in 59. And there he was his team captain. He was an Eastern Conference all-team, and then he was an All-American. So he checked every box and every award that you could possibly get here at Santa Ana College and junior college. After that, he had the opportunity to go play at a four-year school, but like a lot of folks in the 50s, he just wanted to get to work and get to business. And he started a dairy farm, which he ran successfully for the rest of his life. And still to this day, he still raises his cows out in the city of Norco. So that's my dad, and we're really proud of him.
Okay, hello folks, and thank you for being here. and I hope you like my 60-year-old jacket. And I looked in the pocket, and I found a church key. I didn't know I did that. I'd like to thank you all for being here, and I'm very proud of this award. And I don't want to take up too much time because I don't want anybody to beat me up. So thank you very much, folks.
Let's have a nice round of applause for Tom, junior and senior. For our next inductee, a member of our Hall of Fame already, he's one of the great basketball coaches. Are you here, Dana? Please welcome Coach Dana Patchen.
Well, today's a very special day for coaches, and Lonnie Day, he came to Santa Ana College from Esperanza High School, where he played for Coach Mark Hill, and my assistant coach, Coach Rodriguez, and a young man named Mike Oliver, who was a former player for us, were very instrumental in Lonnie's decision to come to Santa Ana College. But probably even more important than that, I would also like to thank his mother, because I know that Lonnie wouldn't have come here without her blessing as well. And I've always thought that I was a better coach when I had better players, and Lonnie's a testament to that. At Santa Ana College, he set a number of records. Most career points, still the record at this time. Now, mind you, Santa Ana College started basketball in the late 1920s. Okay? So for over 90 years, Lonnie holds the record. And he also has the highest scoring average, most conference points, highest conference average, and he was doing all of this while he was still our leading rebounder. He had a number of excellent players with him, Mark Salkala, Jimmy Alapeg, both of them set Santa Ana College records here. Also, I think Giovanni Barraza and Pablo Martinez are also here. And then he also had a young man named Chris Matisse, who's a fellow police officer with him, who also played here. And so, Lonnie just did a great job, and we was fortunate as well to have all these great teammates. But he set all these records having great teammates. A lot of times people set records because the team's not very good, but you as an individual are real good. Well, he set these records while having outstanding teammates as well. Also, I'd like to say that he continued his career at Arizona State and then transferred to Cal State San Bernardino, where he still had some of his former Santa Ana College teammates, and they also, as you saw in the book, went to the Final 16 in Division II. He is now a detective in the Palmdale Police Force. Very proud of him. I'm even more proud now, Lonnie, than I was when I was a coach, for you to achieve this. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Lonnie Day into our Hall of Fame. Lonnie?
Thank you, everybody. Didn't prepare anything. Coach had a lot of nice things to say about me. A lot of memories right inside these walls here in this gym. A lot of tough practices with this man back here, but I feel like Coach Padgett, Coach Rodriguez, collectively, probably my first set of coaches or coach, for lack of a better term, that I guess set me free, if you will. I felt like before high school, like I was held back. I thought certain things should be a certain way, and I was a knucklehead little kid, you know what I mean? Getting to Coach Padgett, he straightened me out, and I felt once I got here to play, he's the coach, but he told me, hey, this is your team, and gave me the reins and let me run with it. Like I said, he had to hold me in check a few times. We'll leave that between him and I. A few conversations we had in his office, one-on-one. Won't go too much more into that. Coach talked about records and all that stuff, and I wouldn't have been able to do it, like he said, without the teammates I had. I don't know if Gio and Pablo and them are here. Chris Matisse, longtime friend, over half my life. I know him and my extended family with him. They're all here supporting me, and I appreciate them for that as well. But the most important thing to me is the reason why I'm standing here is because of that family, extended and my immediate family. My brothers, my sister, my brother, my sisters, and my mother taught me what it meant to be a part of a family. And that's, like I said, I appreciate the award. It's a tremendous honor, but what I'm really proud of is what my family has instilled in me. My baby sister, from me messing with her and growing up and her punching me in my stomach. I remember like it's yesterday, she made me cry. And her determination, her will, what she's accomplished in her life and her family, I'm proud of her as well too. My oldest sister, Sharinda, she kept us all in line too. She was our mother when our mother wasn't there. And part of the reason why, again, I'm here is because of her and what she did for us, keeping us in line, keeping us on track. My brother, also very successful in his professional career. I appreciate him. I feel like he's one of the main reasons I'm here too. I call him my little brother, but he's big. He's older than me, but he's little to me. Grew up chasing that guy around my whole life. Friends, parties, sports, everything. I played up with him not because I was good enough when I was little. It was easier for my mom to get us to practices. My mom was gonna take us here and there on Tuesdays and Thursdays for my brother, Monday, Wednesday for me. I played up with him because that just was easier. And me chasing him, wanting to be like him, got me to where I was. Love him for it. My mother, there are no words. So, in closing, I'd like to thank Coach, teammates, the university, the committee, everyone here today. Thank you guys for coming out. This is their award just as much as it is mine, my family, my coaches, my teammates. So, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Let's have another round of applause. Lonnie, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And by the way, when we're finished, you'll be able to get individual photos up here because we're going to have a group shot of everybody, and then if you want to get others, you can do so. You know, a lot of great players at this school, and a lot of great football players, and again, trying to get the information to get the linemen and defensive backs and linebackers, things like that in. So generally pretty difficult, but somebody finally got wise, and we got this one coming in. To make the introduction is his son, Jeff Meek.
Hello, everyone. I want to thank everybody for coming out. I want to thank the Athletic Hall of Fame Committee and Foundation for putting this together. I want to send a special thanks out to Coach Jeff Jones and Coach Dave Ogas for basically bullying my dad's way into the Hall of Fame. I think they put countless hours in meetings and phone calls and emails and I think the Athletic Hall of Fame made the right choice and inducted my dad this year. In the program, you can kind of read all of the things that he's accomplished. I played here in 67 and 68. Went on to San Diego State, 69 and 70. His coaching career started down the street at Mater Dei from 73 to 75, when then he decided to move us to North Orange County. In 76, he got an assistant coaching job and teaching job at Esperanza High School, where he stayed for the next couple of decades. Became the head coach in 1986, where he won CIF championships in 91, 93 was a 90, and 92 they were the CIF finalists. So they in the mid 90s, Esperanza was a force to be reckoned with. So much so that because we were in North Orange County, they decided, well, you're going to start playing all the beach schools. So they moved us into the Sunset League. We played Fountain Valley and Edison, and every week was a dogfight. And again, it was championships and finals and playoffs every year. So it was a lot of fun. I was able to enjoy those years coaching with him. After he retired or retired from coaching, became the athletic director at Esperanza from 2004 to 2010, and finally retired in 2011. We thought in his retirement he decided he was going to go back and coach some more at Esperanza until 2014. Growing up, a coach's son, I had a blast. I would walk from school over to Esperanza, and as a little kid, I would watch this man who was larger than life just command his presence on the field, and these athletes that were out there, and he was like a conductor in an orchestra, and they were following directions, and you can't tell now, but he had this flaming red beard, and it was intimidating. And it was a lot of fun just watching my dad out there telling these athletes what to do and them doing it and having a lot of fun. One thing I did learn from him was work ethic. He always said, if you work hard, good things are going to happen, and that's true. I try to pass that along to my sons, and I know my sisters here and my other sister up north, they do the same thing. He taught us a lot about how to work hard and be everything that you can be. The lives that he's touched through coaching is unbelievable, and I know a lot of you guys here don't know him, but talking to players, even as a little kid, they'd come up to me and say, your dad is unbelievable. My father's not around much, but he's like a father to me, and that to me was the best compliment I could ever hear. A year ago, he got a little bit of trouble there and was battling for his life, and again would not be defeated. He struggled, and it was really hard. There were times there where we didn't think it was going to, the sun wasn't going to come up the next day, but he said, no, I'm going to stick around, and I'm glad he fought as hard as he did. It is my pleasure to introduce one of the newest members of the 2019 Santa Ana College Hall of Fame, and my hero, Gary Meek.
Thanks, Jeff. Just want to say thanks to the committee for this very humbling honor. To Mary and to Cammie for keeping us informed of what was happening, and I'm not computer savvy real, so getting back to them was always a challenge. I'd like to say thanks to my family, of course. My wife, we had an argument before we even came over here. If I was going to wear a tie or I wasn't going to wear a tie. So nothing's changed. It'll be 50 years in December. Of course, and she's the backbone of my career and of our family. I'd like to thank all the coaches that I've encountered here at Santa Ana College. Dick Gorey, Dave Ogas, Jeff Jones. They kind of approached me and asked me if they were going to nominate me for this award, and I said, why me? I said, there's a million guys that had better careers than I did. And they just said, we got to get some old guys in there. So I guess I'm the first victim. But again, all of the coaches here are fabulous. And it's a great time. Some of the coaches I can remember is Wes Chesley, Ernie Tobin, Benny Rapp. Just I could go on and on and on. That have touched me. To my teammates, I'd like to say thanks. I think on that 60, that team that my last year here, we had 3 All-Americans from that squad that are not in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to be nominating some guys. And again, we had 6 guys from that class that went down to San Diego State on football scholarship. And I think we had some influence on the state football program, because in my 2 years there, we were 22-2. We won the national championship in '69, going undefeated, and it's the only undefeated team in San Diego State history. But we had tremendous teammates. For me, I'm just a guy from South Santa Ana. Went to Santa Ana Valley High School. Out of high school, I was going to go to the University of Idaho. Well, have you ever been to Moscow, Idaho? There's not much there except wheat fields. And so I bounced back, got back into school here in September of '67 and played my first year and had a great time. And again, I was a guy that knew his parents couldn't pay for college. They didn't have the money. So it gave me a place to play and go to school and continue my education. I'm over time. Am I over time? Cammie, 3 minutes? Okay, buddy. Started again. Jeff mentioned I started my teaching career at Modern Day High School, great high school. Had a great time, and then in '76 I went to Esperanza and spent the rest of my career there. And tremendous community we had. Of course, I had tremendous players too. We accomplished a lot at that. During that time, we had 7 league championships, 3 CIF championships, 4 other appearances in the CIF finals. That's how hard it was to win a CIF championship. 4 other times that I can't win, another one. And then I finished my career as the athletic director. Finally, again, I want to thank the committee for selecting me. You thinking back and the hundreds, and I said, no, it's not 100. It's thousands of athletes that have gone through here. And to be honored to be in the Hall of Fame is very humbling. Again, I want to thank the committee and go Dons.
Gary, congratulations. Next inductee will be handled by great coach himself, Hall of Fame, Bob Gorin.
I'm here to introduce David Simcox, and the interesting thing is that David and I came to Santa Ana at the same time, 1965. So he has waited patiently to be in the Hall of Fame, which he belonged in a long time ago. But he had an interesting situation in so much as he spent 6 years here. Actually not here for 6 years, but he spent his first year and a half here. Then he decided to serve the country. He joined the Navy and was in the submarine corps. And obviously his swimming and water polo helped him a lot there. Not so much getting off the bottom, but just getting back to the ship if it left before him at Subic Bay. He started in 1965. He went into the military in 1967. He returned in 1970 and he got his degree in 1971. During that time, David, for the first 2 years, played water polo and swam at the end. But during his water polo career, when he started, he came out of Garden Grove High School and was a great aquatic athlete. He was second in the CIF, and at that time, CIF did not mean 12 different divisions of CIF. It meant one. If you were the best, and you were the best of all of them. He was second, right behind by a touch in the 100 backstroke. He came here and played for me in my first team. They broke the school record for wins, and he, in his 2 years, set the record, the most goals ever scored here, 105 in one season. Which was tremendous. He also was an All-American swimmer and was just one of the truly outstanding. People say now that, athletes are much better now than they were then. Well, they weren't. David was as good an athlete then as they are now, believe me. He played with his teeth clenched at all times. And to score 100 goals in water polo is amazing. But he did it. He went from there. From here, he went to Cal State University in Fullerton and played for Kenny Lindgren and got great guidance there in water polo. Lindgren was the only coach in history to have won a medal as the coach of the men's water polo team in the Olympic Games and the women's water polo for the United States in the Olympic Games. So David got a nice bit of instruction there. They placed third, if you can believe it. Now, Snedden's going to come up here and tell you how great Cal State Fullerton baseball was, but actually they were third in the nation in water polo. They no longer hold water polo or offer water polo there, but at that time they did, and they placed third, which was absolutely unbelievable. David got his degree. After he came back, first of all, David was not quite up to snuff as to what the rules are when you want to withdraw from college, when you want to go into the service, so he just left. and went into the Navy. Fortunately, at that time, when he came back, Tom Trawick was the Dean of Boys at that time, and they had a meeting of all the brainiacs that are in that, and they decided if you went into the service and you served during the Vietnam, we can expunge that record and let you start from where you stopped when you were really going to school, not because you dropped out in the middle. So he was able to readjust and graduated and decided he wanted to do something academic in his life. He got his degree from Cal State Fullerton, and then he got his master's degree eventually from Azusa Pacific. He went into teaching at Foothill High School and coached with Tom DeLong, who was one of the great swimming coaches. Between those two guys, I hate to say this, I don't know how many CIF championships they won, how many All-Americans they had, how many Olympic swimmers they've produced. But Foothill High School has been unbelievable. David was there for 33 years teaching. He was there 30 years coaching swimming and water polo. We broke him up. He went from 75 to 98. Then he took I don't think he went back in the submarine service, but he stopped coaching until 2001. Then he came back again and did it again. He coached, he's been at the City of Huntington Beach lifeguard. He's been there from 1964 to 2013. He has spent 49 years guarding your lives out at Huntington Beach. And those of you who go to Huntington, there is a little surf out there occasionally. Besides that, he was one of the originators of the Huntington Beach Junior Lifeguard Program, and for 38 years he ran that program. And I'm not shy in saying I think he was the very core of that whole program up and down the United States. He took those kids, and I'm going to miss this one too, I've noted to New Zealand maybe 10, 12 times for competitions. He took them to Hawaii as in water polo when he took his Foothill team, probably 20 times. To Europe, he's taken the lifeguards for competition. He's had an unbelievable career in exposing those kids to all kinds of wonderful cultures and great learning experiences. He also has, for the last 45 years, has taught kids to swim in his backyard. He has a beautiful pool in his backyard, and for 45 years he has taught over 800 kids how to swim for free. He doesn't charge them, he just teaches them. And he has taught CPR and first aid from 1974 until the present. That's another 45 years of teaching CPR. So whoever saves you when you have a heart attack and gives you mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, David probably taught him or her how to do it, so you can thank him. Without further ado, and Mark Twain said nobody ever complained about a speech being too short, I am going to introduce Dave Simcox as the next recipient of the Hall of Fame here at Santa Ana College.
Well, Kathy, how did we have time to raise a family? I'd like to thank the committee for honoring me with this award. And there are a few people that I'd like to recognize that are in the audience today. And one is my wife, Kathy, and she's over here. We're going to be married 50 years this next year, so that's my biggest success in life. And I'd also like to thank I'd like to introduce my daughters, Sarah and Kristen are here. And I promised my granddaughter that I would introduce her. That's Ruby. Will you stand up, Ruby? So, and also with her father, Arturo. Bob Gorin, who you have already met, he just introduced me. He's a Hall of Famer, and he was a great high school coach up in the Northern California area. When I met him in 1965, he had decided he wanted to coach community college water polo and swimming. I also wanted to mention Barbara Gorin, who is sitting in the audience, and now it's my turn to get a little bit teary-eyed because they're like my second parents. And when I tell you a little bit about my story, you'll understand why. Also in the audience is Tom DeLong, who I worked with for 35 years, probably the best high school swimming coach in America. We can argue that easily. And his wife, Clara, who were like third parents to me. And then also, I want to not miss anyone, Jim and Becky Brum are in the back, and Jim is an Olympic water polo coach. He was on the team, the Olympic team, I think 2 Olympics ago, as one of the team members, or not team members, but coaching staff. And he took over for water polo and swimming when Tom and I retired. So we've only had 3 coaches since 1965 at Foothill High School. And that's quite an achievement in itself. I want to thank all of you for being here. Bob went over the brochure of the things that I've accomplished, and I just, I can't say this with enough importance of how Santa Ana College shaped me as a person. Now you have to remember, I'm an 18-year-old coming out of Garden Grove High School. A few of my friends who played water polo said, hey, there's a new coach at Santa Ana College. Let's go down and see if he'll let us play for him next year. Well, you know how the community college, oh sure, come on, we're gonna play. So we signed up, and Bob, I'll never forget, Bob said, Dave, you've got to do these 3 things to get registered here at Santa Ana College. And the first thing was I had to set up a counseling appointment. So I meet with this counselor, and he says, Dave, he said, you're probably not going to be that successful here at Santa Ana College. He says, you really need to pick up your reading level and your comprehension. And he forgot to tell me that I also had to attend classes when I came to Santa Ana College. I think I spent 90% of my time in this gymnasium here. And every once in a while I'd show up for a class. This was in my first 3 semesters here. And I cannot think of a more fitting tribute to Santa Ana College. I look back here in the back and I see Nancy Warren, who we spent some time together in this gymnasium, huh, Nancy? She was part of the reason that, I came back to Santa Ana College and I achieved what I achieved. I bet you I could name 20 instructors here at Santa Ana College, and I'll bet you 10 of them, if I saw them at a grocery store or at the mall somewhere, we would recognize each other. And I've gone all the way through a couple master's degrees. I cannot say that about Cal State Fullerton. I can't say that about Azusa Pacific. I can say it about Santa Ana College. They weren't just my instructors. They were my friends. So, as Bob said, I got this cool letter in the mail that said, you're not doing very well in school. The United States Navy would like you to be with them for about 4 years. So I went down and I signed up for the Navy, and I just left. I didn't know, I just left the school. Came back after 4 years and met with Bob and said, do you think it'd be okay if I re-registered in classes and stuff, and did that. And he set up this incredible meeting for with these administrators, and kind of expunged all my Fs. I had 15 units of F. I just left. And they changed all of those Fs to, they didn't expunge them, but they changed them to a withdrawal grade. And to tell you how bad it was, my grade point average when I came back to Santa Ana was a 1.34. So a little bit on the low D range. But the support I received from Tom and Clara, from Bob and Barbara, from Nancy, from all these instructors, it was like I had no choice. You are going to succeed this time. And the one thing they all told me, they said, David, you've got to get better at reading. You've got to improve on your your comprehension. And so what better way to do that than actually read a textbook? So I started reading these textbooks and I go, hey, I'm getting B's and A's now. And then they started saying, Dave, you should be a teacher. You know, you need to be a teacher and a coach. And so I started going for that, and I graduated from Cal State Fullerton, got my teaching credential, and was so lucky that Tom DeLong got me a job at Foothill High School. And that's my story. And I don't think that, I just don't think that I could thank this college enough for shaping the life that I've had. And so to the committee and to everybody out here that came to support me, thank you very much. It's quite an honor. Thank you.
Hey, Lynn, did you hear the deal he wound up getting? They took care of his grades. Mine, I had to make A's in all those classes that I'd gotten at Texarkana College. I had to get A's to get mine. Gee. Well, you pulled some strings. Congratulations. Nice round of applause for Dave. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. Our next inductee will be inducted by Greg Vasquez.
It's an honor to stand here and talk a few minutes about Jacob. I'm Jake's dad, for those who don't know. From the time he was a little boy, he always seemed to have a bat or glove and ball in his hands. I think one of his first words was ball. Jacob seemed to be born to play baseball. Baseball was natural for Jake. He always wanted to play, and he always had fun playing baseball. Jake was always coachable and unflappable. Of course, it was always fun for us as a family to watch him play baseball, whether it was Little League, Diamond Bar High School, here at Santa Ana, or later at Texas A&M and Cal State Fullerton. It was especially a treat to watch him play here at Santa Ana for 2 years. His mom and I didn't miss a game. The one word for his days here at Santa Ana that sums it up was fun. Coach Snedden provided a great atmosphere for the young men to flourish. I know that Jacob was grateful, as was his mother and I. I could talk an hour about Jacob's baseball accomplishments, but I'll give you one highlight from his playing days here at Santa Ana. Jacob had never hit 2 home runs in a game, or never hit a grand slam. Well, against Saddleback College, he not only hit 2 home runs, but they were both grand slams. What a sight to see. The whole family was walking tall for a while after that game. But for all his baseball accomplishments, Jacob's greatest accomplishment is the man he has become. Jacob is a good man. His word is right and true. He is not one for idle gossip. When he's interested in something, he is focused and he sees his goal to the end. Jake is a hard worker and never complains about work, never complains about getting his hands dirty. In the Bible, in the book of Matthew, it says, "A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good things." Jacob brings forth good things because he has a good heart. On behalf of his brothers, Justin and Arthur, and his mother, Fran, I am honored to introduce your newest member to the Santa Ana College Athletic Hall of Fame, Jacob Vasquez.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. I am completely humbled and honored to be here today, to be chosen and to be inducted into the Santa Ana College Athletic Hall of Fame. I would like to congratulate the others who are being honored today as well. First of all, I would like to thank my parents, Fran and Greg. They always believed in me, encouraged me to pursue my love for baseball. They guided me, kept me relying on God for all things, helped me prioritize and focus on my goals. Most of all, I knew they loved me. Secondly, I'd like to thank my brothers, Arthur and Justin. My brothers always saw something more than average in my baseball abilities. They worked out with me, practiced with me, lit a fire under me to help me become stronger and to become a competitive and confident athlete. Next, I would like to thank my coaches, in particular Coach Sneddon, for teaching me the importance of teamwork, accountability, and determination, and to stretch myself to build confidence within myself. Also, thank you, Santa Ana College, for the richness and high standards of the baseball program, which makes it sought out as some of the best baseball players who chose to move to the next level or for scholarships. Last but not least, I want to thank God for allowing me to play baseball good enough to have experienced some of the best programs in the country. God blessed me with a dream to play baseball for as long as I did, and it afforded me a Division I baseball scholarship to Texas A&M. I've learned life values that will be with me forever. In closing, I would like to leave you with the hope of the Holy Spirit, which is the same hope that helped me to never give up on my dreams and to believe in my abilities and in myself as a person. I would like to share a scripture on hope that helped me then and continues to help me today. For I know the plans I have for you, saith the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, plans to give you hope in the future. It's Jeremiah 29:11. Thank you, Santa Ana College and my coaches, for enriching my life with lifelong values that I still live by today. Go Dons.
Jake, congratulations. The next inductee will be introduced by one of the greatest community college coaches in history, Coach Don Sneddon.
Good evening, folks. You just witnessed history. Those are the most words that Jake Vasquez said on this campus in the 2 years that he was with us. So that was a phenomenal job, Jake. I'm so proud of him, I'm telling you. You don't know what an effort that took. He'd rather be out practicing hitting home runs, double home runs and grand slams and that. So that was quite an effort. I also get the privilege of introducing a great baseball player here. And I must tell you that I'm going to refer to it as Santa Ana College and also as Rancho Santiago College. We won't debate that topic because it's not a very good topic. But I'm going to introduce Tony Zuniga, who came to Rancho Santiago College after graduating from Saddleback High School in 1994. He was a Seaview MVP, first team, all Orange County, batted .480. He was 7-2 as a pitching record and with a 1.4 ERA. Even with those awesome stats that he had, Tony had to be convinced to attend Santa Ana College. Some people were telling him that he would not play at Santa Ana. We recruited him hard and for a long time. Finally, we convinced him that he could play here at Rancho, a good decision for Tony and for us. In 1993, a year before Tony, we were fortunate to win the college's first state championship in school history. And that was in 1993. In 1994, we returned to the state championship, only to lose the last game. A tough act to follow, but Tony and his teammates were up for it. They had a target on their back. In March of Tony's first season, we had fallen to a 4-6 record. It looked like we would not finish in the top 3 in conference race for the first time since 1982. We also had to deal with the tragic loss of the death of a teammate of Ryan Lemon, who was killed in a September traffic accident. Tony and his teammates responded with a remarkable turnaround. They put together a 14-game Orange Empire Conference winning streak to eventually overtake defending conference champions and state champion Cypress in the last week of the season. Tony's teammates would only lose once in the last 27 games. This team continued its run with a state championship by beating Cerritos 12-2 in the final game. Tony went 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 3 RBIs. He was named the state tournament MVP. He's also named to the Orange Empire Conference first team. Believe it or not, Tony improved on his stellar freshman year. He ended up improving his batting average up to .384, had 11 home runs with 53 RBIs. To top it off, he also pitched for us. He pitched 15 innings, striking out 16 people and 4 saves. Tony helped lead his team to the state Final Four. This team became the nation's first community college ever to appear in 4 state championship games. In 1996, his team won another state championship. Tony repeated as a state tournament MVP, along with Ryan Fullerton. He was also the first team OAC, and he was the co-MVP of the league. As you can read in the program, Tony continued his career. He signed with the Giants, and he spent 10 years in professional baseball. He spent another 4 years in the Mexican Professional League. And today he is using his baseball skills to coach at Orange Lutheran and manage his own team, the Tustin Scorpions. And I saw a couple of his little teammates out there. Isn't that right? There they are. Good. That's the kind of impact Tony has. These little players come out to see him get into this. Baseball is a team game, but Tony was a key to this championships. Without him, I'm not sure we win 2 state championships. I am sure he's one of the best players to come out of Santa Ana in my tenure as a head coach. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Tony Zuniga.
I guess they're saving the best for last, right? Thank you, Coach Ned. Appreciate that. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. It's truly an honor to be here today, and I'm humbled by this recognition. I would like to congratulate my fellow inductees. Well-deserved, fellas. I want to start by thanking my teammates. You guys pushed me to become a better player, but more importantly, a better person. Thank you very much for that, guys. I know some of you guys are here. Raise your hand, please. There you go, my buddy Scotty. The coaching staff, Coach Weber, who I just saw pull up right now. He's over at Cypress High School now, coaching their, they won CIF last year. Congratulations to Coach Webb. Danny Ontiveros, who's with the Kansas City Royals now. He's a national cross-checker. Pop, who gave me every pitch from third base, and that's why I hit those base hits and home runs. Thank you, Pop. Coach Sneddon, who I consider one of the best coaches that I've ever had. Thank you, Coach. Thank you to my brother, my sister, my parents, who never miss a game. Whether I was playing locally or out of state, they found a way to get there, and that meant the world to me. All the sacrifices that they made for me, I can never thank them enough. To my dad, who passed away 13 years ago, he was my biggest fan. Sorry. He was my biggest fan, and I just like he never missed one of my games, and I know he's here in spirit, and I'm missing this one either. Love you, Dad. To my friends who have always been there for me, supporting me through the good times and the bad, I appreciate every single one of you guys. To my girlfriend, Connie, who I've known for over 30 years, thank you for supporting me way back when, and thank you for supporting me now. Love you, babe. Making the decision to come to Santa College was one of the best decisions that I've ever had, or that I ever made. Like Coach Sinnott said, we won state back-to-back, and it opened a lot of doors for me, including, like he said, going to junior college and being the only junior college player in the nation. And that was a great honor. Thank you very much, and Don's roll.
Tony, congratulations. Nice round of applause for him, please. Well, it's terrific. We had our next presenter, we didn't think was going to make it because he had a little just surgery yesterday, but he happens to be here. Please welcome Jose Vasquez. You take it easy. You're supposed to be going easy.
Good evening to all of you, and let me start off by, we're going to talk about a unique team. I wasn't prepared to talk today, but I think that not being here, I think, was something that I cannot do, especially about the team that we're about to induct, which. There's so many great things about not only the team, but the unique players that form this team. This privilege that I have is more than anything, I think that I wish that J.P. Frutos was here to congratulate these young men because he was our head coach. And I was only part of that as his assistant coach, but it's a privilege for me to just talk about just the great things that this team accomplished in 1999. And if you know soccer, winning 25 games, not losing, not tying a game is something that it's unbelievable in the sport. Yet alone, tying a game at any kind of level, it's very difficult to achieve. And these young men made that possible because they had a dream, they had a goal. When they started, they believed in each other, they believed in what they wanted to do, and they wanted to leave something behind. And most of these young men are back-to-back, not only conference champions, but state champions and national champions in 1999, but they were also runner-ups in 98 in the national pool. And what they accomplished was an amazing accomplishment that I don't think we will see for a long time. Yet in that team, there is all kinds of individuals that achieve so many great honors, from MVPs, state MVPs, first team, second team. We have on that team the leading scorer for our school history. We have the assist leader in that team. We have the most shutouts on that team, our goalkeeper that couldn't be here, but he was part of course, a big run that we had in 1999. We also scored the most goals that year. We've never done that. We scored over 100 goals that year. We shut out like I said, most of the teams. I think we were only behind once in 25 games. And looking back at it, I don't think these young men, after 20 years, realize what an impact they did to our program as far as really raising the stakes and the level super high for the rest of the teams and for the rest of the athletes that we now have. And I'm just so happy that these young men, out of an only known each other for 20 years, but they've kept, they kept in communication with each other more than anything. Other than being great athletes, great soccer players, they're great human beings. And, what they did here was an amazing, amazing honor. So I am super, super blessed to have been part of that with them in 1999 and for a couple of years with a few of them. And like I said, I'm going to bring Andy Arroyo here to kind of finish it up. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon to everyone. At this moment, I would like to bring the rest of the team out, please. I would like to say it's an honor and a privilege to be chosen to speak on behalf of the 1999 soccer national championship team. As you can tell, it's a team, so it will be hard to speak individually about every player on that team. So I won't even try. But just know that we took student athlete for what it meant. Right here next to me, you see not only athletes at the time, but now doctors, business owners, educators. So we took the student athlete to the fullest, and I'm grateful for that. But let me take you a little bit back to the summer of 1998. When it was a journey for some of us, young men looking to be part of a team, playing a sport we all loved. That year, friendships began, and for some of us, the sense of belonging developed. Even though, as Coach Vasquez stated, we won state championship, we were runner-ups for the national, we weren't satisfied. We wanted more. In 1999, brought some of us back together. We added some new teammates that would become part of our original family. We had an unbreakable record on the field of 25-0. But more important, we had an unbreakable bond off the field. It was 1999 that proved to be the year that our commitment to our team, our coaches, and each other would define our future as we entered adulthood. Dedication, perseverance, teamwork, sacrifice, and the leadership and support of our amazing coaches led us to a national championship. It is those same qualities that helped us mold into the man we are today. As 20 years have passed, our lives have taken different directions, but the friendships we formed, we have remained. We can now add this day as a story we'll share when we are together. And while the 1999 Santa Ana College soccer team will always be remembered as national champions, for myself, I will always remember it as a family that played together. We would like to thank Santa Ana College for giving us hopes and dreams of everything we have accomplished. And congratulations to my brothers for this day. Thank you.
Just wait here, okay? Yes? Okay. Hi there. How you doing? You want to watch it? You can stand right here and watch it. You want to watch? You want to talk? You want to talk on that? You want to say congratulations? Say congratulations, Daddy.
That's a legend, Daddy.
Congratulations, guys. How about a nice round of applause for our 1999 men's national champions? What we're going to do is, guys, if you stay up here, we're going to have a group photo of everybody right over here, just a couple of seconds. And all the Hall of Famers, Ken, can you kind of guide everybody up so they can take the photo right over here? Before we wrap this up, I want to identify one person deliberately here, Lynn Wiley. I have to give a public thank you. He and I, 61 years ago, met at El Toro in the Marine Corps, and we played football on the Marine Corps football team, and ran track and did all these other stupid things. But when he made the decision to come to Santa Ana College, Dunmarty and a couple of others followed him a year later. Thank you for bringing me here, because without you, wouldn't have Dixie for my wife, and I wouldn't have spent all my life here at this place that I love so much. Thank you. What we're going to do is we're going to take a group photo, and if you want to get your shots, be sure and do so. And we've got some food and all back in the back. But this concludes our induction ceremony for the Athletic Hall of Fame. And one thing to point out, it was referred to a couple of times, should be in, should be in. We need nominees for induction into the Hall of Fame. And sometimes if we get them on the list, if they don't get it that year, when we do it 2 years later, they get a shot at it, because we do update these applications. But we want to be sure people recognize, going way back when, are in the Hall of Fame if that's where they belong. Santa Ana College is a great, great school. It's making a difference in lives, as it made on many of us. And thank you very much for being part of this very special occasion today.